Podcast.
MW. We back up in this thing. You can't roll with us if your last name don't got no loyalty. Podcast party poppin', but you already knew. I've been rolling with these folks. This that Monday night crew. Millennials versus the world like. Millennials versus the world like you. Millennials versus the world like. Millennials versus the world like you. Millennials versus the world. Millennials versus the world like you. Millennials versus the world like. Millennials versus the world like you.
Yo, what's happening, good people? Welcome back to another segment of the Monday Night Crew. It's your boy K.Mims, the only spot you get authenticity and entertainment at the same time. I got my bro Lewis with me. I got my good sister Asia with me. DJ J Dub will be tapping in with us with a little bit, man. But we're going to get started and get right into it, man. So if you have been sleeping under a rock and you have not been on the internet, I'm just saying, the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef has been going crazy. What are they 4-4 right now, song wise? 4-4, 3.
I think so, because Drake
4-4.
Yeah.
I want to say Kendrick came out with a disc on Metro Boomin's album, and then Drake came up with Push. So Drake's songs are Push Ups, Tailor Made Freestyle, Family Matters, The Heart Part 6. Kendrick Lamar has Euphoria, 616 in LA, Meet the Grams, and Not Like Us. So just from a wide standpoint till we get into exacts, who y'all feel like is winning? How y'all feel about the rap? What, Lewis? What?
Let Asia go. I'm just waiting to hear Asia's perspective.
Yeah, I'm gonna hand it over to you, Asia.
All I'm saying is Kendrick is diabolical. He's a menace.
Oh God.
I really think that, and here's the thing, and I think it's because of how he was doing it. Like, especially when it was Meet the Grams, he did not address Drake. He went straight for his family, like the entire family. Like the opening line, how you gonna start talking to his son? Like, yeah, I should really be the one raising you. That I just think he was so disrespectful on so many levels, and I loved every second of it.
Damn.
And that's just how I felt.
Can I ask,
Yeah.
are you just a Kendrick fan, or do you really feel like he's really doing some diabolical rapping?
No, I legitimately am I a Kendrick fan for sure. But at the same time, I really do feel like it was one of those things, like not gonna lie, I was really just like, Drake, please respond, like say something.
Oh,
At this point,
come on, it ain't like that.
after Meet the Grams, yeah, Meet the Grams I thought was very super disrespectful. Super.
So I give you that. I give you that. However, I don't think that right now. I hate to say it because I'm a cold guy, even though I like all three of them. I don't think Kendrick winning like that. I think his music has been good. I think his discs have been good. But like, if we take it from a perspective of just rapping, I don't think he winning. I think Kendrick is more conscious. I think Kendrick it's kind of like the Pusha T thing, like giving us information we didn't know, the shock value. But then when Drake dropped The Heart Part 6 and was like, dummy, you bit on the bait, he kind of killed all that all that good hype about the 616 in LA died because you took the bait. So I don't know. I feel like it's dead. I'm gonna say it's tied. Whoever get the next knockdown in the next round gonna be up, because I also don't think this beef is gonna have a long lifespan. I don't think this beef is gonna have a long lifespan.
It's definitely not. Like the frequency of it, like even like as soon as when Kendrick dropped them back to back, that's when I really realized, I was like, okay, he's just doing what he's doing right now. He's pushing out all the things, because the thing is that whether Drake quote unquote wins or not, right? Like Kendrick really did, like a lot of people, and I was looking through comments and all this stuff, like a lot of people were just like, okay, Kendrick, like, it's okay, like please just chill, relax. This is getting like it's too much. So for me, it's like people that only saw Kendrick as like a conscious rapper, and I like conscious rap. That's why I like Kendrick. But I think people I think either way, J. Cole won, really, but But Kendrick, Kendrick, I think Kendrick is up.
Jay Lewis, what's your thoughts, man? Kendrick versus Drake.
J. Cole got the hell out the way. He said, "Oh hell no, y'all ain't gonna take away my nigga card."
He did get out the way.
Who y'all think up?
Honestly, I don't really have an opinion one way or the other, because I don't like that Kendrick is taking the same shots that Pusha took. Like the kid, they're like, all right, we've seen that already. You get what I'm saying? Drake, we know Drake is mixed. We've seen that already. However, I did like the fact that he was calling out Drake about capitalizing on culture and about how he goes to Atlanta to get his swag. You know what I mean? And how he pinpointed that was beautiful, right? Linking up with Future, linking up with 21, linking up with Metro, like all those people. I thought that was dope because, and I'm gonna critique Drake on this, as great as he is as an artist and the acclaim that he gets, he isn't for the culture. You don't really see him lobby or in moments where there's opportunities to speak about the advancement of people that look like us. You don't really see that with him. And he could, right? He could say something and it can get national acclaim. And Kendrick has been about that since day one. And he's calling them out on it because he's saying, hey, I'm what the culture's feeling. You might be selling all these records, but I'm what the culture's feeling. And yeah, I ain't gonna say the other comment because I get in trouble. But I like the fact that he called him out on that. And then with Drake is prepared. He's witty. So he's just approaching it from two different angles. I just like what I'm seeing, but no, not leaning one way or another. I just would like to see something different, so to speak.
But you don't think Drake's visual kind of set him apart from the diss altogether? Like how he was towing the bus on Good Kid, Mad City.
I expected all of that.
Explain.
Like when he dissed Miko back to back, he had a picture of the Blue Jays. The cover art was the Blue Jays winning the World Series over the Philadelphia Phillies. Like Drake, that's how Drake does it, right? The good thing about the unique, and then Drake also is he's the one that gets dirt and reveals it on people, right? That's what he was used to doing. But when Pusha T did it, he flipped it on his ass because he found a picture of him and revealed dirt on him, right? So we seen that element of battle rap, right? Because back before it was just people just kind of spitting at one another. Now all it's like who can get dirt and put money out to get, you know what I mean? We've seen that. Just spit. Just I want to hear people rap. So that to me was expected. And that's kind of like the theatrics of it. I don't really care about all that.
I keep hearing that Kendrick is coming off like a hater. Like
he said he hated him.
But
he
I'm saying
said it.
I love that part. I love that too.
So, but it's a different though. Like Kendrick really saying, like in a real way, I hate you, and being a hater from the context of like his success. Like I said, this Drake do seem like the type that let mess with your baby mama or something, and don't even care, don't even feel bad about it. So he probably got something, and he'll probably do something to make you feel a way where you got that type energy behind him. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, I really don't this is me transparently speaking. I don't understand where it stemmed from. Like they were good. Like remember they had, bro. When I'm not trying to be funny, and this is going to be very unpopular. When did Drake ever take shots at Kendrick? Kendrick has always taken subliminal shots at everybody, all the way back from when him and Big Crit was on the album. Now he never may have done Drake specifically, but he has done like subliminal shots at people, or always talked about how he was in his lane by himself. And this is just a one-on-one battle, but like it do seem a little like
Drake does that shit all the time. Drake takes subliminal shots at people to where only you will know he said. Kanye said it. Kanye got on an interview and said Drake will say something in a rhyme to where only you will know he's talking about you. Drake does that shit to the point that we may not even know, but he does it a lot more. He does it a lot more than people think.
That's fair.
And I think I was because I was listening to something. And I did hear that it actually goes back a while. But Kendrick being Kendrick is like, I'm not playing nice with you. Like, I'm not doing the whole let's pretend that we're cool for the industry. Let's pretend that we're doing this for features. Like, no, I'm not. This is not it. And I think that's another reason why, because I'm with Lewis. I like it either way. I'm being thoroughly entertained, to be
Yeah.
honest. I'm looking forward. I'm like, what's gonna happen next? But I think that's why Kendrick is so like when he did that whole "I hate you," and
Yeah.
he was set in literally that's one of my favorite parts. But I think you could tell though that Kendrick is like, yeah, like we're really not like this is really personal. Because
For
I
sure.
genuinely don't like you as a man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's a whole different level, right?
Yeah.
And I think and that lets me know it has to be something that's on a personal level that Kendrick is willing to like really, really talk about. Like, I'm not about to play in your face.
So what do y'all think is next? What's next? Do y'all think? Like not publicity stunt. Do y'all think a song or tour comes out of this? Do you think this ends the like big three era of Cole, Drake, and Kendrick? Do y'all think that they're going to continue to go back and forth for a while? What do y'all, in y'all opinion, what do y'all think is next?
No, I don't know.
Or you think it's just a rap beef and it's going to die after that?
I think it's gonna die after that personally. My bad, y'all. I know I've been jumping in and out. First of all, I couldn't
Sorry,
hear
bro.
y'all, so I had to hop back in because my damn phone done hooked up to my Bluetooth speaker. So y'all talking and I'm over here like, bro, what is going on? So
Yeah.
I got that straight. But I think it's gonna die out to go
But
back.
Jay, give your thoughts first though, because you didn't get to. What's your thoughts on the beef? Who won and who's up and every all the above?
Yeah, my thoughts on the beef is I think right now it's even. I thought at first Kendrick was up. I think he lost a lot of points for me if the information that he got was like beta information.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just like, I mean, it was dumb on Drake's part for doing it anyway. That's some cornball shit. But for you to take the bait makes it worse that you put out a whole diss record with false information. So that's my thoughts on it. I think right now it's kind of like that balanced the playing field out. But I think all in all, it's gonna die out. But that "I hate you" stuff was very personal. Like that, I was like, wow. And to make go back to Lewis' point too with the culture thing, whenever big stuff has happened, I haven't seen Drake speak out about anything at all.
Not once.
So, but this is the thing though. There's a lot of big name people who don't do that. Like, there's a lot. Like, not saying that Drake should or should not, but like Jordan won't like that. Like, a lot of big name folks,
like Michael Jordan.
Oh, for sure, 110%.
And he was criticized over it.
I know, but I'm saying like that's a normal thing. That's
but
a normal thing.
Look at the flip side. LeBron speaks out. Now they say he speak out too much.
Okay, so I like the transition of this conversation, but I think LeBron is one of the reason why LeBron can, because I think LeBron has gotten to a point where he can't be quote unquote shut up. Like, he controls his own narrative now.
But here's my problem. Drake capitalizes
right
his music. He capitalizes on those people who suffer through, unfair treatment and things like that. The people that are enduring the pain from systematic racism or oppression or what have you are the people that he is catering to in his music. And he goes in the hood. He gets on these songs of YG, what's the dude that did the shoot dance? I forgot his name, but he gets on the song with. He gets on the, going up on the two. He gets on these songs with these guys, and continues the representation of being hard and rap or whatever. But then when it comes to the experience that we have, you know where to be found, right? You can do all that, but then you really didn't grow up. I mean, that's the thing. You didn't really grow up like that, right? You maybe came to Tennessee for a summer here and there, but you didn't really live the experience, but you rapping about it, or you portraying as if you were part of it and you're not. And that's the part that I'm not with.
And I'll even say just real quick, Jay, like, and for me also, I think it's that, but even looking at, and Kendrick called out in one of the songs, I forget which one now, but like, how many accents have we even heard from Drake, right? Like, I just feel like he constantly, and when Kendrick called it out, like, I felt so like, yeah, thank you, because Drake doesn't even know who he is, and he's not even sure of all the things. And so what you see is he's evolving. Like, there's one incident that happened where Drake came out and he had his hair and it's like hairstyle. He had almost like these like barrette looking things, and he had like a fro, right?
With the FUBU thing on.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if you know the rapper, the actual rapper that Drake literally took his exact look, didn't give him a single ounce of credit, nothing like that. He's a beautiful, I think he's a great artist, and his artistry, but just seeing how like Drake is constantly trying to replicate what is authentic in the culture, and then not giving credit where credit is due, right? And still until now we're in this rap beef, and now he wants to be so down and he's able to do all these things, right? But he's still making cornball moves like a little girl, which Kendrick also called out, but I won't get into that. But for me, I think that's really my irritation with Drake.
Okay. Respect. Jay, you were saying something.
Yeah, well, two things. Asia just brought up a good point with Drake. I think he has mastered the how do I put this? He's mastered basically recreating himself and whatever the culture is. Because obviously he's about just monetizing. He doesn't really care about it. It's about how can I stay relevant. But I want to say something back to what Lewis was saying. Remember you said he did a feature with this person, feature with that person. He also has built a reputation to where people feel like that they have to get a feature from Drake to go to that next level. I had to realize that too, like, because if you think about it, Lil Durk had a great following, right? Lil Durk was all these things, but until he got on that song with Drake,
it changed it.
It changed him completely to a whole.
Hey, but guess what?
Audience.
What's his biggest song right now? Though? What's Lil Durk's biggest song right now?
With Cole.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, sure. But I'm saying that opportunity got presented because of that, because of that opportunity with Drake.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying I'm not even talking about the features. It's just that the songs that he's featuring on are the ones that started when he talking and rapping tough. You get what I'm saying? Right. And man, Drake is where he is. He's been protected because of one name, and it's Jay Prince. It's Jay Prince. If he was not connected to Jay Prince, he would not have the protection that he's had.
All right, so
he would not have the protection that he's had.
Let me just, for the sake of this conversation, which I'm enjoying, I just have a question.
Okay.
Will we not want somebody from somebody to look like us, so to speak, not benefit off our culture versus other cultures that do it anyway, and they're never going to give us the credit? I'm just asking a question.
Yeah, obviously, but you got to take it all.
Right.
Okay.
Don't take pieces of it, and don't pretend that you from it.
Yeah.
You're saying, you know what I'm saying? Don't pretend that you from it. You get what I'm saying? Don't pretend that you from it. But I'm not saying this is negative to Drake, because I remember watching the interview that he did on like Cribs or something when he was on Degrassi, and he had like all this different types of music and all this stuff when he was really trying to find himself musically. And that's what gives him the ability to assimilate, as Jay was alluding to. He is an incredible artist. He understands anyone that talks to him, talks about him in a music capacity. To be a rapper, he understands music probably better than most. So he is an incredible artist. He makes great music, great songs. I do agree with Kendrick, though. You're capitalizing on our culture. And if you really about our culture, then be about our culture. And the one unique thing about him is, and I'm gonna say this, and it's not negative, he's on the completely different side of the spectrum. He has the poor African American Black experience, and he has the Jewish experience, which are two totally different ends of the spectrum.
Yep,
for sure.
Totally different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's true.
110%. So my answer, I hope this ends with, I don't think they're gonna reconcile because it done got too personal.
Right.
But I hope this ends like, this gonna sound crazy, in the most positive way possible. Like it just ends and music and culture moves forward without people getting hurt, X, Y, and Z. Because I do think, people are powerful enough to have others make bad decisions for them, or people get too wrapped up in what's going on and something stupid happened over here. So I just hope the next thing, honestly, bro, I know this not gonna happen, but if they went on a tour or something, that joint would go crazy right now if they ended up doing that later on. Because this is the one thing that a lot of people haven't talked about. I just think it's weird that all these beefs came out of nowhere. That's the only part that's weird to me. Like when it started, I'm like, where did this come? This super left field for everybody to start beefing all of a sudden.
Well, did you see that rap was starting to lose popularity, right, in the music space? And then Vince Staples, have you seen Vince Staples' interview when he was asked about it?
Nah.
I have.
All right. I don't want to paraphrase it. Just watch that, and it'll explain a little bit more too.
Okay. All right. Any last thoughts on Drake versus Kendrick? It's a cold world.
Nah, man.
Cold world. And I would say this. I'm gonna go out here and say this. If Cole would have kept going, I'm sorry, but I don't think either. Well, I don't think Drake and Cole are beef, but like, I think Kendrick and Cole would be, because I don't think there's a lot of dirt. It's just rapping, and that would be what we. Because 7 Minute Drill, everybody said it was soft, but I feel like it was just a warning shot, and it was still the hardest one out of everything that's been put out now. To me, personally,
because he was rapping.
Yeah, for sure. So, we gonna kind of transition before we get into the topics of the night. I do got kind of a different vibe video that we're going to react to, but I got a question for you all. What are y'all? This is just a general, you know what I'm saying? We can talk about all aspects. What's y'all thoughts on sharing your location with your partner? What's y'all thoughts on sharing your location? Not like, hey, I'm going, I'm going here. Here's where I'm at, but like a constant, I know where you at every second of the day. Asia, I saw your head shake first. So I'm gonna throw it to you, and then we'll bounce around.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I've always shared my location, like with my partner. And I don't know how, and I'm interested actually to hear y'all's perspective on it. Because for me as a woman, I'm like, no, I need my person to know where I am. Like if I'm stuck on the side of the road and I'm getting flustered because I don't know what to do with this pop tire or whatever, I need him to just be able to come and just do what needs to be done. So for me, it's like that, and also like even with like my girlfriends, we all have each other's location. So for me, it's not that big of a deal. And also I'm not the type that's like I'm not checking to see like what's going on. For me, it's more of like, are you safe? Are you good? If I need to come get you, well, can I do that?
How often do you check those with your girlfriends?
To be honest, not that often. The only time that I really check it is if I know that, let's say like one of my homegirls said like, oh, I'm gonna be out tonight. Girl, where? So I'm checking to see, and like my best friend, there have been times and she'll be like, she won't say nothing to me, and I'm like, oh, like I just got home. She's like, girl, I know, and you was there parked for this amount of time. So yeah, so that's really when I check on my girls and stuff, or if I know that they are out on a date, like with somebody that I have not met, that I don't know, or even if I do know them, I'm checking. Just to make sure like that everything's like good and stuff like that. But other than that, and sometimes if I'm bored, I'm just like, where y'all at? But that's about it.
Okay.
I get it, yeah.
All right, Jay, and then I'll go to you, Lewis.
For me, I see a lot of females do this. They definitely share their locations with each other, for safety reasons and for the pure point of just being nosy. But so other than that, I think when you get into a relationship, it's a little tricky with that, because then it's like it can teeter that line of like really wanting to know where you are and then just trying to control you. And it could get to that point of like, yeah, where you go? Like, yeah, okay, send me this or send me that, or okay, who you around? Well, FaceTime me so I can see who in the room. It's like, whoa, calm down, bro. So I think it can kind of teeter that line though. But it just depends on who that person is. But for females, I completely understand why they do that.
All right. Lewis, what's your thoughts, brother?
You know what's crazy? I would not have a problem with it if it was like, if I was somewhere local. But if I'm out of town, I wouldn't like it.
Tavon, what up? Tavon, I don't know what the house mean, bro. Let me know what that house mean. So would you share it while you local and then stop when you go out of town? Or would you just not share?
Because hold on.
You're gonna be arguing, bro.
It would take I would have to explain everything.
I'm with you. I'm actually with you on that though.
So you know what I mean? And I don't like explaining myself. I'm just gonna tell you what I did, right? But if you're not here with me, hold on. If you're not here with me, then I gotta tell you, like, it's stuff you're not gonna understand. Does that make sense?
You're not gonna understand why you at the strip club at 3:30.
No, all right. So look, let's use this. When we was in DC, right? We left the event spot. We went back to the girls' Airbnb, and then we went somewhere else.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
True.
I could just say, hey, we went to this place. We left the event place, then we went here. That's it. That's where I was. But if you see my location, like, but nah, you was here. But I'm like, all right, yeah, we were, but it wasn't that. You get what I'm saying?
I do.
That's why I feel like when I'm out of town, it's like I have to, and I've been through this. I'm speaking from experience. I've had to explain more than I care for.
Yeah. Tavon said church. Tavon said church. J Dub said it. He said basically like it'll pour into like people could be nosy. So Lewis, I just want to kind of, first of all, I'm not gonna lie, I'm 110%. I'm sorry, Asia. I'm 110% with Lewis. Transparently speaking. But listen though, I'm gonna tell you why. And people gonna feel how they feel about it. Oh well.
Hey, go ahead and say it, man. Just say it.
I ain't saying that super wild today. But after a while, it's kind of like I don't want to say a trust thing. I get the safety part. I really do. But I think with the traveling out of town, or even if you just out and about, because what really resonated with Lewis said, Adrian, can I ask you a question before I say this? Would you agree that women are kind of nosy when they in love? They need to know everything going on?
Oh, men are too, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
Okay. I'm not here to
talk about it. Because I don't y'all know how I am. I don't want to do the gender thing only because I genuinely feel, because it has happened to me on a number of occasions, that my dude will tell me where I am, and I'm like, I just parked.
Because you be acting up. You probably be acting up. He got to watch you. So that's probably just you.
That's not even true.
Appreciate everybody tapping in, man. Please click that like button while you're here. Click that like button. Appreciate everybody tapping in. So, Asia, I'll say this. I'm going to make it a gender thing. Really, really. Oh my God. Brittany, yes, I said women are nosy. Yes, I said it. Hey, look, appreciate. Hey, look. Brittany said Brittany just couldn't help herself. Yes, I said. Yes, I said.
Oh man.
Yes, I said it. But hey, this is what I was getting at. Like,
she on here watching us. She being nosy.
Yeah.
She should have been on. She should have been on. She being nosy. Watching what we talking about. She be on here with us.
Yo, hey, I'm not getting into that. Get him. So, but Angel, this one I am going to make it a gender thing real quick.
Okay,
this is what I'm saying, and this we got to be real about what I'm about to say. Just say, been a little rough. You know what I'm saying? And you say, you know what? I'm going with the ladies tonight. It's a high percentage chance to do, unless he's super, like nothing going on, no BS, no nothing. A dude is not going to be super. Where you going? Where you going? Where you at? Super checking that. I don't. Brady coming at you, bro. She said, "Don't come for me, Louis B. Unless I send for." I did not send for you, sir.
Okay. I ain't got nothing else to say. I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate everybody tapping in, man. So what I'm saying is, like, Asia, I do think there's an element of you go somewhere with your boys, y'all may be pre-gaming, you got to make a stop here. That stop is going to be in question for no reason, because it's like because this is the one thing that remains that I've experienced. Let me not generalize what I've experienced. If you say I'm going to be at the Circle on U Street by 9:30 and that time don't align, a story need to come behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Guys may not even they'll just like, yo, you good? Yeah, cool. I'm on my way home. All right, bet. Like, that's what it is. Yeah. In my experience, I'm not going to be super checking what you're doing, where you I just feel like in certain instances it caused more headache than it has to be outside of safety. Safety, I wholeheartedly get. Yeah. But if you're at home and I know where you're at, why do we need to be sharing?
So you said like because my thing is, and I guess it's because like I'm not turning off and on my location. Mm-hmm. You just have it. Mm-hmm. So like if there is something that I need to, because the thing is like, yeah, like if I go anywhere with and this we're gonna talk about like with a partner, right? Like if I'm traveling or whatever the case may be, and I'm with my girls or whatever the case, whatever. It's like, yeah, you're gonna know I went from this place to this place. There might have been a stop in between. If you ask me about it, I'll just tell you. It's not like I just feel like it doesn't need to be that deep. And I just find it to be interesting that y'all took location and made it into something that has to be so toxic. Like why can't it just be like, okay, let me just make sure he's good, right? Like, because if you do say I'm gonna be on U Street or whatever, oh wait, am I frozen?
No,
No, we hear you. We wish you were frozen, but we hear you.
It's like if I say I'm gonna be on U Street at 9:30 because what you said like, oh, a story has to or questions are asked unnecessarily or whatever the case may be. It's like, no, if you say you're gonna be somewhere, then it doesn't have to be like oh, where were you? Da da da. It's like you good? Like what happened?
Right.
I made it to U Street.
That's a valid right, and that's a valid question though. Like it doesn't have to become a toxic like her questioning you down all the things. But if you say, babe, I'm going out with the guys tonight, okay, cool. But let's be very clear, half the people, not y'all, but half the people that y'all hang around are not some upstanding men all the time. So we know the one joker that's cheating on his wife already, that's cheating on his already, and you were there. But I'm just saying, like, this is what we think about though. Because it could be like you're cool, you're fine, but your Brody's not. He's wilding, and we all know he's wild, and you're gonna be with him, and you're gonna have to make sure he's good, he's safe. So y'all might end up in some back alley somewhere because you're trying to make sure that your band is okay. So let me know. I'm concerned about all y'all.
Good God.
Hey, facts. Brittany said, so I'm gonna respond to you, Asia. Brittany said, I don't believe in shared locations. Tavon says, sheesh. I think Tavon is referring to the married person that's the married person with the shit. So let me ask a question. Yeah. Asia, may I just ask a question to your scenario? No toxicity at all?
Yeah, of course.
If you already said it's cool for me to go and you know I'm with dude cheating on his wife, what is sharing my location gonna do? You already okay me going with him. So what was sharing my location? How would it help that situation? But say the location said I went straight to wherever we going. I'm still with old buddy who got all the stuff going on. What does that change? I'm asking.
Right. No, that's all I'm saying. Like I'm saying because y'all are saying as if like I would be like me representing women in this one, like, okay, you're going out and now share your location. For me, that's very different than like, okay, I'm going out, so I'm gonna turn off my location. If we're already sharing location, because that's what we talked about, it's on. I'm not gonna turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on. Yeah. That's weird. In my opinion. If it's on, it's on.
I agree with that.
It's weird if you're turning it off.
If y'all started out like that and y'all always have your location on, I think you should keep it that way. Cutting on and cutting it off. Let me say, I heard Lewis say something earlier. This is where I think our disconnect is coming from with what we're trying to explain, how it's coming out, Asia, maybe how it's being received towards a lot of people on this live. I think a lot of people handle that situation how they are with themselves. Like Lewis don't like to over-explain. So he's not going to require his wife to over-explain because he doesn't already like to do it. You get what I'm saying? So because he doesn't and he feels like he has to go the extra mile, it's frustrating because it's like, if you were out, I wouldn't be doing this.
Facts.
You get what I'm saying? So I think that's where the frustrating part comes from. Like you said, your woman asks you a question like, hey, you went to U Street, you made a stop. It's nothing toxic about that. You can't explain that. But over a period of time, if you're not used to doing that, that does become frustrating.
I agree with two things both of y'all said. If you start that way, you absolutely need to finish. It shouldn't be a click on, click off type thing. Just beyond, because Asia said toxic. I'm trying to see. Oh well. So what I'm saying is like I still don't think it removes the fact that like there's unnecessary headache that comes with it, and I don't even think you got to be toxic for that to happen. Like certain things are not a thing, and unsolicited or unneeded information always makes small things big to me. I just don't think it matters. Now, granted, we got on here saying about safety. My whole point is if we're not sharing, let's say we're not sharing, but if you're at home and it's about safety, then you're probably in the safest place that you could be in as far as me being out. You know what I mean? I wish I could tell a story. I'm not gonna tell it here. I have been in some instances where like I've seen people say like, hey bro, like let me share where I'm at with you, bro, because I don't know. Like I've seen that happen. Like one of my bro. So going from the perspective of friends, right? Like I have had like, yo, look, bro, hey, bro, I'm chilling, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna send you this just in case because we outside tonight and I need you to know where I'm at, how I'm moving. You know what I mean? Because at the point in time that wasn't a thing, but I have seen that. Any more thoughts on sharing locations? That was good. That was really good.
That was good, yo.
Asia, I don't want to be on here with Asia alone again.
Yeah, yo,
Why?
what? Hey, yo.
Why?
She was pulling out the chamber.
Yeah, she was.
She was.
Tonight. I'm not gonna lie, Asia. Hey, that's my partner though. That's my partner. Step her back. My bad.
I'm chilling. I'm chilling on that.
All right. So next, before we show a video and get into the topics of the night, what are y'all thoughts on FaceTiming? Hear me out. Not just FaceTiming all the time, but like say if you are out and you just want to have fun and you talk on the phone. What's y'all thoughts of FaceTime calls, meaning more than just regular calls? Have FaceTime and take over calls? Do y'all believe FaceTime has positively or negatively impacted relationships on a day-to-day more so than when you're far away from people? Just what's y'all thoughts on FaceTime and how it's implemented into the new culture of communication? What's y'all thoughts on it? I'm gonna throw it to you first. Oh no, I did Lewis last time. Lewis, I'm gonna throw it to you first, Brody, and then we're gonna move around that way.
Okay.
I left for a reason. I don't need to look at your ass.
Hey yo. Well, I'm gonna go. Lewis. Obviously, Lewis is done already. So for me,
golly.
Yeah, the FaceTime, I'm cool with that to a certain extent, especially because I travel. So obviously, I think the FaceTime comes into play if you do traveling. Obviously, it replaces Skype and all those things. FaceTime every day is a bit aggressive. But it's like I get it. We're gonna talk on the phone. I work a lot. I do a lot of different things, so I don't even like being on the phone a lot anyway. So like when I do get on the phone, I feel like you just need the phone for me is just used for like setting up stuff. Hey, this is what we need to do. This is what's going on today. The kids need to do this. Okay, cool. That's it. The small talking about that, it's person, you know. So the FaceTiming all the time, yeah, I'm not for that.
All right. Asia, what's your thoughts on the FaceTime?
You said
what? No,
I thought you had that look on like he's about to let somebody have it. I misread it. I'm sorry.
No.
Oh my God, no. Hey, look at this, man. Hey, get up out of here, man. What? Hey,
oh, hell no.
Oh, she done called for backup. You hear me?
Hey.
See, what y'all not about to do is come from Asia. Y'all not about to come from Asia. I was not about to leave her alone, coughing or not. I'm coming on here.
Wow. So, okay, so your direction following is terrible. We can talk about it later. But I forgot where I was going, man. I was not expecting that. I forgot where I was going.
She's so nosy, she had to hop on. I told you, man.
That's crazy to me. My good sis is just here to make sure I'm good.
She was holding it down.
But no, I was gonna say, because you were asking me about like FaceTime and stuff. I feel like, and I guess because my perspective might be a little different too, because I've been in multiple like long distance relationships, right? So for me, like FaceTime is very, very, very important. Once again, but I'm with Jay. I'm very busy. So it doesn't mean we're FaceTiming all day, but a significant portion of at the night, my gosh, at night, and not every day either, because who has the time for that? Like we're adults, right? But I think, and that's what makes quality time. It's not quantity time, right? And so for me, sometimes that quality time might look like FaceTime because I just can't. We're not in the same proximity because I do travel so often and all the things.
For sure. So I'm a Samsung user, so I don't have the luxury of. I know I'm with you, bro. Hey Jay, I don't have the luxury of FaceTiming, which only time I really enjoy is when I'm away from my family. Honestly, this is my opinion only. I think FaceTiming your Asia, not in the case that you just explained. I think when you have long distance and you all don't get to see each other, I think that's very important. But for me, like I like seeing you leaving in the morning you know, we may talk throughout the day text, but I like seeing your face again when I get back. That's me personally. You know what I'm saying? Like I enjoy when we leave in the morning, we go do our thing, we come back, we get to see each other again. Maybe it's because I've never had it as far as FaceTime. I don't implement it as a way of my communication. I've seen FaceTime turn a situation up. Like, why you not picking up my FaceTime? Like, hold on, our FaceTime. Like, I seen FaceTime go the other way quick. And I'm just like, it ain't gotta be all that. Like, I just feel like I have. Because this is the thing, Asia. Why are you looking like that? And we're not being toxic.
You my partner, so I'm not saying nothing.
Like,
I'm not saying nothing.
So once we get off, I'm about to light your ass up.
But Asia, but hear me out though. Asia, hear me out. In certain situations, if you always do anything and you opt not to do it in a certain instance, it raises red flags. That's all I'm saying.
It's true. That's true.
So like if I wanted to disconnect and say, yo, I'm chilling tonight, I'm doing this, and we FaceTime all the time, and I just want to disconnect. I ain't with all that right now. I don't pick up the FaceTime. World War III might pop off. And it wasn't even that deep. Oh, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, because you almost turned on me.
No, she's thinking beside you right now, boy. Inside.
No, Brittany, I'm thinking beside my partner.
Brittany, would you like to add anything about FaceTiming?
No, I'm not a FaceTimer. I'm a voice noter. I send voice notes. Like that's how I don't have to see your face. I don't have to talk to you face to face. I don't want to do that, to be honest. But a voice note, like it's a step above text messaging, a step underneath FaceTiming. So
okay.
Yeah.
That's a good thought.
That is.
So
I do like receiving those.
So the last thing we're going to do before we get into topics of the night, man, I got a video I want to share. I'm going to show the video. I'm going to play it out, and then I have a very specific question around it.
Okay.
Reasons why marriages or relationships fail is because of lack of self-disclosure. We don't want to talk about the issues. We don't want to talk about the challenges because maybe we've been on a streak where we're getting along, we're not arguing, so we don't bring up issues in our relationship because we just don't want to mess up the good times. Not understanding that these things are piling up, you're sweeping it under the rug, and then one day, all it takes is to be triggered one time, and you're going to bring up all the issues in your relationship that you avoided before.
Okay, not to condone passive aggressiveness, obviously, and not to we're going to talk about men being vulnerable, but what I want to pose to the group as a question: what are y'all thoughts on, like, when things are going good, but you feel a way? How do you break the ice and having those conversations with your partner, friend, or whatever the case may be? And what made me say this from this video, I've been brought up on like peacekeepers versus peacemakers. And a lot of time we mistake silence for peace. So what are some of the methods or ways that you all communicate? Well, hey, we may not be arguing, but I got something on my heart that may disrupt our flow right now. How do y'all handle that? So I went to AJ. I'm sorry, bro. I went to Asia first. I went to Lewis. Now, Jay, I'm gonna throw it to you first, and then we'll wrap around.
I think me knowing from experience now, I think that the only time it's tough to have those conversations and to say, like you said, we're on a good streak right now, I don't want to mess it up, is when you have a lot of conversations that are unfinished. Like a lot of conversations that are not complete. So it's pondering in the back of your mind because it never was ever resolved. So it's like, I want to kind of revisit this because this wound is still open for me, but it's like you trying to keep the peace too as well. So I think if you start resolving those issues, I don't think it will be a problem because those hard conversations do need to be had. It's just communication and delivery. I had to learn that a lot because sometimes when I talk, I could be very direct, very like non-emotional. And then it's just like, bro, come on now. You got a little bit. So just learning that as I begin to grow. If you finish those conversations, I think it'll be a little bit easier for you, personally.
Salute. I'm Asia.
Yeah, I feel exactly what Jay is talking about. I do think that a lot of times it's just about saying like, hey, like let's just have like a check-in or like, like this, like just say the thing. And those that know me know, like, I'm not afraid of having the conversations because it doesn't always need to be confrontational. I think a lot of times it's about your tone, how you say things, the timing of when you say things.
Yep.
So like, don't let, as soon as you annoy them and they bring it up, then now you want to bring it up. It's like that's inappropriate timing, right? But I think it's just about like just having those check-ins, just so that, because if you put out those little fires, right, then you're not going to have to worry about a big old forest fire. You don't have to worry about that. So I think it's just about knowing your person also. So to Jay's point, I recently had actually something like that happen with me and my best friend. We had a conversation. She let me know some things were going on with her, and I'm an internal processor. She knows that I'm an internal processor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it took me a couple of weeks to then come back to her and say, hey, when we had that conversation, there were a lot of things that I thought I was like, okay, I could get with it. I didn't want to hear any of it, but I could get with it. But there were some things that really hurt my feelings when you said this. I know it took me a couple weeks, but she legit, she said, I know how you are. I know that you were still processing it. So I was just waiting for you to come to me when you felt comfortable. And we worked through it. It wasn't, we didn't yell. It wasn't anything like that. It was just like, hey, sometimes I'm going to say things that you don't agree with and you don't like it. But that doesn't mean that I then don't say the thing. I'm still going to say the thing, and I'm still going to love you afterwards, even if you agree or don't agree. And we were able to have that conversation. It was weeks apart, to Jay's point, right? But we still had that follow-up conversation that was needed because I needed to still process the information that she brought to me.
Asia, can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
In your experience, not personal experience, but you pick one up, but now your experience, what's the biggest barrier between couples having those effective check-ins? Like what are some of the barriers you see when couples try to have those effective check-ins? Like, what are barriers if you do?
Assumptions. Because most of the time, the thing with couples is that they think that they know their partner so well that they already know how they're going to respond, when they're going to respond, before they even give their partner a chance to even hear what they have to say. So before, a lot of times, before we even go into a conversation, we played out the full scenario. And then we decide, you know what, not going to bring it up, not going to say anything. So that's a big barrier.
That is, I didn't mean to cut you, but I was about to say, I think to that defense is like you replay that scenario in your head over and over based off past experience. So let's say if you were communicating with your partner, right? And every time you try to say something, they shut you down immediately. Like, oh, that's a dumb idea and this and that. Like, you're naturally going to think of the next conversation and say, hey, no, I shouldn't bring this up because I know they're going to react like this. And that's not always, but I think the other person has to do the work to reassure you as a partner, hey, that was a one-off situation. Like, you basically improve your communication is all it comes down to.
And it taps into knowing your partner too, right? Like I agree wholeheartedly with what both of you said. When we tie in tone and delivery, it's all about the approach. That's the biggest thing, is the approach. You'd be surprised how you can approach somebody about something and they can totally perceive it a different way than if you come at them hard, angry, or I don't even shut down. Like, some people shut down, some people don't like that sarcasm, some people don't like that. So it's just about knowing your partner and understanding the approach and how you approach the situation. I think one of the biggest things for me was as long as what I've learned moving forward in previous relationships and now in a marriage, don't throw it back up in somebody's face, or don't hold on it. Oh, don't hold on to it, right? Like, if you guys didn't talk about that thing, don't wait until another argument comes up or another conversation comes up where you're trying to communicate with your partner and say, well, 5 months ago, you blah, 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 blah. Well, why are you just now telling me this? Number one, or why did you say that you forgave me, moved on from it, and you still throwing it back in my face? So it's one of those things where if you're going to talk about it and kind of work through these kinks and, even in regular friendships, relationships, just make sure you get it all out. But I'm a firm believer in laying it out flat. But just watch your approach, how you approach people.
Louis B.
No, I mean, I think everybody said it. One thing I'll maybe say in short, I think it's all about timing. And sometimes when we think about timing of information, we think about timing of it for when that person maybe is ready. But you also got to look at the time for where it can be presented as best by you, because if you hold on to it too long, it can come out as frustration, right? And it maybe isn't filtered or as tactful as it could be. So when you think about timing of how you're going to have that conversation, you got to think about when, okay, it's getting to a point to where even though we may be in a good space, I can no longer hold this information, or it's not going to come out as I intended. So I would say timing is really big for both sides.
Dope. So kind of wrapping into like my personal experience to like when things are going really well, I had a very hard time bringing down the mood, if that made sense. Like I had a very hard time expressing myself, and it wasn't like necessarily bringing down the mood because I was being mean, but it's like when you have to say something when everything is good, but you may be feeling it differently towards, you know, how everything's going, it brings down the mood because it could be out of left field, or it could be something where something's required of a partner that they didn't know was required of them. I used to do a really bad job of saying the need in the moment, not moment being like when it happens, but moment being like while it's important. Like I will not say anything, months will go by, I will learn how to not have said thing and function without it. But in reality, when those moments came back around, if I would have had the conversation the first time, the second moment would have been easier to navigate because I expressed what I needed in those times. I think the biggest thing I learned about ebbs and flows is like what advice I would like to give people in relationships, long-term relationships: do not remove context from reality. I think sometimes if you can look, you got to know your partner, but if you can look at what's going on, or if she's been working really late, or she has a lot going on, she's going for an exam, she's doing different things, those things can affect the way she's thinking or the way she's feeling. And to be considerate of what the other person is going through more so than what you're feeling it may just be a moment in time. There may not be anything wrong. They may just need support. It may not be a conversation, but if they get back to their regular self and then it's still a hole, then you may have to have a separate conversation. But I'm a big fan of not removing context when things like that are happening.
Yeah. One thing I will say, anytime I've had issues delivering information to someone, and I feel like I've done my part to deliver it tactfully, I ask them, well, how would you prefer I say it next time? Or when would you prefer I say it next time? Because you cannot invalidate your feelings to make someone else feel better. If you're in a relationship, they should care about how you feel just as much as you should care about how, vice versa. Right. But if you're not getting the right response, ask them, hey, how would you prefer I say this next time? That would be my suggestion.
Yo, random. Angel, appreciate you tapping in. Shanti or Alicia Keys, who's more beautiful?
I'm not answering that.
Hey Jay, who you gonna pick, Jay?
I'm gonna pick. You said more beautiful.
Yeah, that was the question.
Now I'm gonna say. That's a tough one.
You about to get in trouble, boy. Go ahead.
Yeah, probably Ashanti though.
Ladies, who do y'all think is more beautiful in your opinion?
Alicia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ashanti. All right. Hey, Angel, appreciate your comment. We got two Alicias, one Ashanti. Lewis is scared and Jay is scared.
I said Ashanti.
Oh, okay. All right, 2-2. All right, so now we are going to transition into the topics of the night. So the Monday Night Crew topics of the night belong to me and Asia. I'm going to throw it to my dog, Asia, and she's going to bring us in on the first question for the topics of the night.
All right, y'all. So, what traits did you get from your parents, and what traits are you passing to your kids that you want to pass down to them, and what traits don't you want to pass down to
them? That was starting.
Y'all going deep.
Yeah.
And I will say this as a disclaimer to the question. Like, go to Lewis's thing, go as deep or non-deep as you want to go. But like really think about like the things you really don't care for.
That we inherited from my parents.
So let me go first to give you all time to think. I'll go first to give you all.
Okay.
So the one thing that I got from my mother that I really hate that I got that my son has is people pleasing. Like it took me a long time to get out of that. My mom always assumed positive intent. She never thought anything like it's like, nah, it's like one of those things like, nah, it can't be moving like that for nah. And I was the same way. Everything I'm like, nah, man, it can't. Nah, it's not like that. My oldest is the exact same way. He does not think like he's just so innocent to the point where he just think like people ain't mean. Like, come on, man, y'all couldn't do that. And it's hard to navigate to see a little person have a trait that you know can cause them pain later in the future being that way, and just teaching them like you don't want to teach them not to trust others, but you do have to teach them how to protect themselves and set boundaries. A thing that I would say that I get from my pops that a lot of people don't know is like lack of emotional attachment in hard situations. Like I don't really, when a whole lot of crying and stuff going on, or a whole lot of, I'm not the, oh my God, I'm like, okay, like I'm going to be in the moment. I'm not going to say anything weird here. I'm not about to cry, but let's see how this goes. Like I'm not that person. I feel like when there's a lot of emotions in the room, it just doesn't. Let me tell you, man. You know the last time I cried? Seriously.
Yes.
King Richard when Venus came out with the bees on her head, bro. No lie. It was the power. Like I get more emotional over powerful moments than I do of like life things happening, if that makes any sense in the world.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna step back and throw it back to you all for the question of the night. How Jay, Lewis, Brittany, how do y'all feel about that?
First of all, I commend you for crying over them bees. That was big of you. You know,
right? That was a monumental moment.
It was. Were they clear or colored? It didn't matter.
It was white. It was white.
That's significant. That's
very. You know, like the ones you had last summer.
You're fucking right.
You the ones you went and got. And you got them at the top and the root. You ain't even get them on the ends.
Yeah, wilding. But so, for me, for my mom, it kind of piggybacks off what you said. It goes with people pleasing, but the heart, like having a big heart for people and just always wanting the best for them. I definitely hear that from my mom, and sometimes it's like passing that on to my kids. I had to learn how to have them protect that, because oftentimes you just want to tell them like, no, don't be like that. Like people out here, they trying to use you and all this stuff, but you can still have a good heart. You just have to give it to the right people. And my thing was I didn't have those right people in my life, so I was becoming scarred by it. And then I would just be like, man, no, I'm just about to turn cold-hearted. But in actuality, it's like, no, it's a lot of good people out here that deserve to see your light shine and deserve to see the authentic version of yourself. One thing that I got from my pops is definitely lacking emotional intelligence. I mean, he's bad. Like my dad has like a no compromising zone. So I think Lewis do this sometimes too, but maybe not as much. Like if you tell my dad like this is gonna happen on the second, right? When the second comes, nothing could have ever changed in between there, because he's not gonna comprehend that something happened to alter what happened on the second. So it's like, let's say if we say we're going here, and it's like, nah, well, Pop, we got to do this because this came up. Well, how did that come up? You were a man. You told me that we were going to do this on the second. I'm like, but yeah, this happened. That's not what I'm asking you. So, and it's like I passed that down a little bit to my girls, and I had to like loosen up, because I'm like, now that stuff is happening from their end, I get it now. I need to loosen up.
How is it emotional intelligence?
I wouldn't say that. Yeah, that's that. I guess
you don't get the
I'm gonna back you up, Jay. I guess he's saying like to not understand why people's moods or things have changed based off what they go through.
Yeah, he doesn't understand like if something is happening emotionally to somebody else, he doesn't know how to comprehend what's going on with that situation. He only understands what he said was what it was.
Got you. So I get what you're saying. Yeah. I got you.
Thanks, Louis.
Louis B, Brittany.
For me, as you guys know, I think this is something I heard it from my dad's side of the family. I am unfiltered at times, and sometimes I wish I was more filtered. Because people laugh. Like my brother and I, we talk about it because he said someone asked him a question. It was like, "Hey, do you just say whatever comes to your mind to your mind all the time?" He's like, "Yeah, doesn't everybody do that?" And I was like, "Damn, is that why people laugh at me all the time?" You know what I mean? Like, because I just say what I'm thinking. So, that's one thing. And then one thing to my kids. Yeah. He's that way. He's a little bit that way, but he's not as bad as my brother and I were. But the thing about him that I feel like I got from my mom is that we were really quickly offended, right? Like quickly to be defensive because we're offended, and that's something that I'm really working with him on, because that's something that I've learned, but I've learned that it's all rooted in my own issues or my own confidence with certain things sometimes. And I'm trying to teach that to him to be more secure in who he is, so he doesn't have to get offended as much. But yeah, those are my two. The unfiltered thing, I mean, it works. It actually works for me a little bit more than it hurts me sometimes, at least in my mind. Because sometimes I don't give a shit like that right there. I don't give a damn.
Nah, I was actually agreeing. I actually had a question that I didn't want to turn the conversation left, so I just opted not to say it. Like a good question.
Well, I'm
ask you, brother.
Yeah,
I just struggle with the unfiltered thing. Like I would say myself, I have a filter. I'm recently learning like to go more inward, just because I don't really care for. With my non-filter, I have a hard time defining sensitivity and like what others like, because sometimes filter don't always mean harsh. Like I think that's another thing. Like unfiltered don't always mean harsh. You can say what you're thinking and it's not being harsh, but I feel like we live in times, and Lewis has gotten on me about this recently. Like we live in time about my delivery and things y'all probably done got on me about that. But but like certain things aren't malice. They're not said in a certain tone, and there's like a certain level of defensiveness. I feel like in a general sense where people never think positive intent of what you're saying. They only hear what they may be feeling or their projection of how they're feeling, differentiates your words from what you're saying and what they receive. And it's just for me personally, not having a filter in certain situations. I'm like, this like level 2. We're not even going there for it to go here. I'm learning how to navigate that more, specifically with ones I care about having conversations that are not unsolicited, but I'm being asked. And then I say things like, you really want to hear my opinion? And then I go to tell my opinion, and then to left we go. That's what I was going to say. That's where I am now. I used to maybe divulge it a little bit more, but now just like, it ain't even worth it. I could still think it. It doesn't mean any less. I don't have to come out with it. And when I watched that small talk interview that I had, I was like, I was really saying everything that came to mind. Like, for real. I didn't spare a thing. But I was being asked, right? It wasn't like I was going out saying it. So that's the difference. That's the Lewis I know. To me, it's like, that's the Lewis, like, why not be that good? That's who I know you to be.
Yeah, man. But it's cool. But when people, I'm gonna be honest, when people laugh at me, I'm like, damn, what did I say that was wrong? I wasn't even trying to be funny. I was just saying what I was thinking, so.
Let me tell you one time when Lewis hurt my feelings, yo. We were talking about when we was 20. One time we was on the phone as adults and we was talking about like credit and stuff. And I was saying how I was young. And he was talking about credit cards. And I was telling like, he was like, yeah, man, we were just talking. I was like, yeah, man, when I was like 23, they gave me like a $20,000 one with like 22%. He was like, damn, dummy, did you take it? I was like, yeah, bro, ain't no difference. Like, shit. He was like, that was stupid as hell. I was like, damn, bro. He's like, but luckily, I was smart with it. But he was like, damn. No, I know what it was. I said, he was like, what's the limit on it? I was like, man, it was like 19,000. He said, yeah, they probably gave your stupid ass a 22% interest rate, didn't they? I'm like, yeah, how you know? I was like, yeah.
He said, yeah, you know.
Hey, Lewis, you remember you
As soon as you said that, I knew what you was gonna bring up, bro. I knew you was gonna bring that up.
I was like, damn, thank God I ain't sensitive and I was young, but anyway, I'm sorry, bro. That's a little story time about Lewis.
It's cool. That leads right into mine because mine is definitely sensitivity. My mom is super sensitive. Super sensitive. I can say that I inherited that, a little bit of it from her, which is crazy because my dad is the total opposite, and you had to have tough skin growing up in our family because him and my brother, they joke a lot. Um, but she would always get offended or go on quiet mode or whatever. I see that a lot in my daughter. You can't say nothing to her. She's crying, but what? You know, that little girl phase. So that's one thing that if I could swing her out of it, I definitely will. Um, One thing that's good and bad for my mom though is like overdoing it. I say bad because she does not have any boundaries. She doesn't tell anybody no. Like she's gonna go, she's gonna do it. That woman has a battery in her back.
You talking about like how you on the call tonight? Okay.
How I'm on the call tonight. Exactly. Oh, never mind. Definitely overdoing it, but it's a good thing because I feel like when you ask people about my mom, everybody has positive things to say. And like the legacy that she is leaving here is very positive. She helps everybody. Everybody knows her in good spirits and not necessarily like, oh, she never told us no or she never came through. She always comes through for everybody. So that's why I say good and bad because she doesn't set that boundary. But yeah, those are my two things. I would say for my dad, it's being short tempered. I don't think any of you, with the exception of Asia, maybe go Keenan.
Yeah, I yeah.
I can be short tempered.
Man, oh man, I was like,
me too. Hey, I'm in there.
clarification.
I do want
to. I saw it. It wasn't to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I do enjoy? I was gonna say one thing before we go. One thing I do enjoy being a parent is that the things that my daughter and my wife are so eerie similar, right? And I love the fact that my daughter now is responded because she shuts down when she gets mad. She just cuts you off. She just shuts down. She don't say nothing. You could be talking to her like right, and she act like you ain't even there, And that's something my wife used to do. And I would tell her about how she was shut down and how challenging it is. And now we're going through it with her. And she comes to me. She's like, "I'm so sorry." She's like, "I see it." I'm like, "Yeah, I told you. That's what your ass be doing." See that? So that's the beauty in it. That's kind of the beauty in it, though.
That's real, though. The one thing I will say that I didn't think about that both my son, both my sons have that's annoying as hell right now, but I think it'll help them out later. They have my persistence. Like they'll just keep right now it's annoying because they just keep that up. But like I see, like for instance, if they're trying to do something they have no business doing, I know I gotta watch them for the next 4 or 5 hours because they're not going to stop until they get the. So that was me. But later in life, I think that persistence is going to help them with them trying to get to their goals. The mission is on their 3, 4, and 2-year-old scale.
Do y'all call y'all's kids out on that? Like, this is as a parent, I guess. When because they're a part of you, and when they doing shit, right? Because I had to call my son out today. I was like, "Hey, man, I know what the fuck you be doing. I just don't say it all the time because I don't have the time for it. But I know what you be doing. Don't." But I'm like, should I let him know that, or should I just kind of sit back and play? You know what I mean?
No,
like, what is y'all thoughts on that?
Definitely let him know.
Yeah, I tell my son all the time, Cameron. I'm like, right now, his thing is like, for some reason, my son wants to be me. His thing right now is taking my do-rags out of my drawer and using them, right? But at one point in time, he will wait till I went back downstairs, take his do-rag off, run to our bathroom, get it, say, "Daddy, I gotta use the bathroom," come back, and he can't put it on, so I would see it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
for a little bit, but he does that with everything, right? Like, so say in the morning, I'm like, Cameron, wait. He's defiant like me. He's not going to wait. So our thing was the door. He's going to keep doing it, right? And I said, Cameron, you're not going to be happy until you pull that door and you fall back and hit your mother's car. But go ahead, knock yourself out. He kept doing it. He popped his head. I just told you that was going to happen, bro. I love you. You all right? Move on. So my answer to your question, you absolutely call it out. I think the beauty in parenting is knowing the answer to the question and letting them figure it out and then shaping the navigation that they took to get it. Right. That's what I like about it. I like them making mistakes. I like them to keep stabbing at it. And me being I'm gonna say former athlete, my son being in soccer, I see so many opportunities for his listening or so many things to grow that way, Lewis, that's the way I let him know. I let him know through all these different avenues what I see, and I let him go after that. I tell him and let him make the mistake. Mm-hmm. I guess he was asking Brittany and Jay about, do you all let your kids know when they see things in you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and I was going to ask Jay, is it harder because you have girls? So for me, like, I always catch my daughter and I'll check her right then and there because I was a little girl before and I know what this and that is. And I mean, she's going through the phase now where edges got to be laid, got to have a matching ribbon with the shirt. And it drives me nuts because I'm like, get up and you're going to school. But I definitely let her know. But, opposite sex wise, I guess the question is for you, Jay. Like, do you feel like you can do that with daughters, or do you allow their mother to kind of handle that?
It's a little bit of both. I allow their mother to handle it, and I handle it too. When I do see it, it's a little bit tougher for me because they are my girls, and it's a little tough to check those things. But I also want to let them know, okay, like, hey, I see what you're doing. Like if you're trying to wear something you don't need to wear, like you said, you in the bathroom, and now you go from not using the bathroom for 5 minutes to now you in the bathroom for 35 minutes. Like you said, you in there laying edges down. It's like, hey, listen, come on, I know what you're in there doing. All right. Tighten up, get it together.
You could put beads on with them, Jay.
Yeah,
Lord have mercy.
I painted my face with them. I ain't putting no beads on there, but I know when
you do like makeup time and stuff with them.
Not no more. Not that they older.
Oh,
but if they ask me to, I will. Yeah,
like paint your nails and stuff.
They did that like once. Yeah, these niggas doing it for free. So I mean.
Jay, hey, look, as a girl dad, it's no shame in that, bro. I let my girl do it right now.
Yeah. Hey, bro, I hate the way Lewis and man, nobody asked you, Lewis. Like Lewis always like, man, nobody. Damn.
I'm about to get unfiltered on your ass if you keep talking trash.
What's new? What's new in the last 15 years?
Hey, that's
what's new? Hey, I tell another story about CarMax.
All right, nah, I'm cool.
Yeah. Whoa.
Hey, but Asia, real quick, I didn't hear you say what's some traits you got from your parents. Even though I know you'll pass your traits on to your little ones later. What's some traits you got from your parents?
I think for my dad, there's two things from my dad, really. The first thing is that my dad, like, he's not a very vulnerable person, like, at all. So, like, people that, like, see my dad, they'll be like, oh, he's super chill. He's just real mellow, nice guy. My dad is so wild, and he's hilarious, and he's, like, so many other things, but you would never know that. You know what I'm saying? People just think, he's, like, the guy that goes to church, God-fearing man. But I'm like, that man, like, I've seen him, like, jump over tables. And, like, my dad is a different breed. Yeah. Lewis, it was something with this man. He was like picking on people. And so my dad jumped over the counter and like confronted the dude, right? Because my dad was like, you're not going to sit here and bully people, not in front of my face. And the guy was like racist too. Yeah. So like, so my dad, he has just a lot of sides to him that a lot of people, they don't see. I'm like that a lot. Like, I've said this here too. Like, I'm just learning how to be vulnerable, and show all the sides of myself, with different people. I think my dad is also. He and I were just talking about this last night. He's the type of person that is like, if he detaches very quickly and he's okay with it. I am the same way. Like I could have been cool with you for like mad long. If it fizzles out or whatever, that chapter of my life is like it happened, but I'm not sad. It's like, okay, cool. Like wish you well, keep pushing. Like I detach very, very easily, very quickly rather. And I'm okay with it. I think from my mom, and I'll just say my mom's side because I know more about like my great grandmother, my grandmother, my mom. Though those women, it's entitled. They're entitled, but it shows up differently for all of us. Um, so like with my great grandmother, for her, it was like with men, right? So she was like, no, like men are gonna do exactly what I need them to do when I need them to do it, and that's how she was. I think with my grandmother, it was like, no, like the world owes me something because she had a hard life, and so for her, it was like, no, the world owes me something. Um, and like my grandmother, she don't have a lot of friends like that. Like she rotates people like that. And I think with my mom, it showed up as like her just kind of like having like this fake, like I'm helping you, but I'm really only doing it so that you know that you need me. So that when I ask you for something, you're not going to say no because you need me. So you don't want me to say no to you, right? And in the same ways, I'm learning that for me, it showed up a lot in relationships. And I didn't see people really for who they were. I saw them for the role that they were. Um, and I think that for me, I didn't realize that it was a generational thing either until I had a conversation with my grandmother. And I was like, oh, that happened to you too? Oh, you was doing that same thing, Shima? And she's like, well, yeah, my mama did the same thing, you know? So yeah, so those are things that are like the yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Asia?
Mhm.
With your vulnerability, I know you have spoke about that before. Did you just get older and notice it through your own self-healing, or did you see it? Did you learn it through hearing it in relationships?
Yep, I heard it from my girls actually.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Okay.
so one of my girlfriends, she was asking me, I will never forget this, because this is when I really learned that because I always thought I was vulnerable. I had gone out on this date and in my head, I thought I was showing I was excited about it. And she was like, "Ooh, tell me like all about it." And I was like, "Okay, well, this happened, and then this happened." Um, yeah, and like it was cool. And she was like, "What? Do you like him?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I just told you I did." She's like, "What? No, no, you didn't. You gave me a report." And I was like, "What?" And that's
Yeah.
that's actually when and she was like, "Yeah, Asia, you're not vulnerable. Like I was never a crier. Like I was never like very like just like everything just was what it was." And so yes, it was actually because of one of my girls that I took that to therapy and I realized that I was not vulnerable.
Absolute respect.
Yeah.
Absolute respect. All right. So the second question of the night, we're gonna kind of shift gears. So we have had some conversations about career and growth and where we are now. But the question that I would like to pose to the group is this. It stems from in 2024, we are coming into a time where creating a business is more prominent. Different types of careers are coming out to lead the way about what type of skills we should have. So my question to you all is about career exposure. As you were coming up, how much do you feel like you chose your career or your career chose you? Meaning you went through school knowing what you wanted to do, you got out in the field, and then even if you didn't go to school specifically, but you grew up knowing what you wanted to do, you became an adult and you attacked that, or you kind of navigated the workforce in the adult world and landed in the career that you were good at and you learned it. So the question is, how much did you either pick your career, or did your career pick you? Meaning you got in that career and then got good at it, or did you pick it first because you knew you wanted to do it? And because Brittany, you're the only person I didn't throw it to first, I'm going to throw it to you first. Britt.
For me, I feel like I always knew that I wanted to give back, help people. I just didn't know what direction I wanted to go in. So in high school, I was in nursing. I almost said something so wild. I was in nursing. I didn't
Oh,
I didn't like it. I didn't like it. But I ended up doing health sciences anyway when I got to college as my major in undergrad up until my sophomore year. And that's when I realized, when I started like doing your clinicals and all that other stuff, I'm like, yo, this is really not for me. Like, I want to help people, but not in this capacity. Drawing blood, giving medicine, wiping people's like clean baths and all that. That was not my lane.
Wiping people's what?
I'm not gonna say it again. It wasn't for me. And so then that's when I later figured out what I really wanted to do in terms of social work. And I, undergrad was psychology, master's degree in social work, but really giving back and understanding. I fortunately, for my till this day, all of my cousins, all of my family friends close that grew up with me and my brother, they tell us we had the silver spoon in our mouths. And I was trying to break that stigma of like, my parents, they just gave us, they didn't want us to live the quote unquote struggle life, and what, some of my cousins went through and how they were raised and how they were born. So then it struck a nerve in me, because I'm like, damn, what can I do to the kids that are less fortunate? What can I do here? I always felt myself trying to prove like my blackness. Like, I'm black too, although I'm black too, right? And that kind of led me into the career path of working with children specifically in underserved populations. And so I guess I guess I knew, but the career kind of chose as I climbed the ladder into adulthood.
Okay. Hey, Brett.
Louis J.
For me, I think it's a little bit of both. I went through a lot of different phases of what I wanted to be growing up. I went to school for engineering, and when that didn't go as intended, I had to pivot, and make a choice. I joined the military. I sold cars for a little while, but I feel like when I got introduced into the banking industry, we had this conversation, a few other pods ago. I really understood getting into an industry to understand money, a concept or something I wasn't exposed to. The more I was educated on it, the more it became more of a passion for me. And to a degree, I do also help people while helping myself. Right? I get a chance to help people and help my friends. Right? Like, I cannot tell you how good it feels to get the information and then give that information to people and help them with their lives as well. So I feel like it chose me. I feel like it chose me to a degree.
Okay. Good respect. What about you, Jay?
My career definitely chose me. When I was in high school, I was in the medical careers as well, Brittany. I was going to school to be a heart surgeon. And then when I got out, I graduated, went to college, and something just shifted inside. I was like, yeah, this is not what I want to do anymore. So I went from, like you said, kind of navigating through different. What? Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna say something serious that a lot of people don't know. Jay always say he's not about school, but can you tell people how much, because people do not know this, how much scholarship money you had graduating from high school?
Bro, why we got to bring that up, bro?
Because I think it should be known that you chose that you didn't want to go versus you're not able to go. I think that's important.
Oh yeah. I had a lot of. I don't remember the amount. Do you remember the exact amount?
Man,
we went over it before, but basically, like, I graduated like very, very high in my class. It was maybe fifth.
What number were you? What number were you?
Maybe 5 or 7, something like that.
Okay.
In the class,
that shit was only out of like 30 now, so don't.
It was out of 10.
I was saying that because I was 13. I was 13. I was about to say if he was higher than 13, I will go say that. But okay, cool.
Nah, so look, I was gonna apply to Duke and go to Duke Medical School, and then what happened is I ended up going to Guilford College, and I switched my career path. I started working on. I went into auto body, learned how to weld. And I really got good at welding. So that transitioned me into working into the crane field because I got hired on as a welder. Then I transitioned on being a crane technician. Then I realized, okay, I'm really good electrically and mechanically, like with reading schematics and everything like that. So then I transitioned into working on machines. And I feel like every place, kind of like you said, Louis, that I went through, it prepared me for where I am now. Even building a rapport with customers and stuff. That if I do want to start my own business one day, I can because I have that great relationship with a lot of customers. But it definitely chose me.
That's dope. I never knew that about Jay. Until just now. That's dope. That he wanted to be a surgeon.
Yeah, I did.
Initially. I had no idea.
And he gonna downplay it, but bro had the grades and money to go a lot of places. Like, and the reason why I didn't say the number, I really didn't know it, because if y'all don't know, people that's listening, Jay and my wife went to high school together.
Mm-hmm.
And when Jay was like really like, oh, now I'm good on college, she's always telling me like Jay was like one of the top earners in scholarship coming out of high school in their class. She used to tell me that all the time. I'm like, word? She's like, hell yeah, Jay had a lot of money. So I just think it's important to note that you have choices, and that a lot of people think because when you go to school and don't finish that you can't or you weren't able to, but it doesn't always have to be that. So I actually was just trying to give him his flowers because he made a decision like, no, I didn't really do that, but I didn't want that to get misconstrued as he couldn't have done it or he didn't have the ability to pursue.
Right. Now, I appreciate that because I definitely wasn't going to say that, so I appreciate that. But I am very happy about one thing, that I did find a field, a trade, because when you always have a trade, you always have a job. So I don't have to worry about that. So I'm very thankful for the way my life's been going.
For sure.
That's good.
What about you, Miss Asia?
I think that it shows me. I didn't always know what it was gonna look like though. So like I just remember I was 16 years old. And I learned they call it like a rhema word, but like I was reading my Bible one day, and the scripture, it said like, do not forsake the widows and the orphans. I don't know why, but that I felt like the words lifted up off the page, and it was like, yes, Asia, that is what you're gonna do. And literally from that moment, I think I was 16. From that moment, everything else that I did, I said, I don't know how, I don't know what it looked like. At one point, I thought I was going to open up an orphanage. And then I'm like, okay, that's not what it's called here. You know, like in the States, it's like an agency. And so, so for me, my whole life actually stemmed from me reading that scripture when I was 16. And then, you know, just over time, different things happen. Like I didn't know what social work was until until a year after I graduated undergrad. I had no idea what it was. Yeah, we didn't have it in my when I was in undergrad. So my undergrad, I built this whole like I did communications, but it was what was it? It was like consulting and like nonprofit. It was for nonprofit work and consulting work. So I thought I was gonna go into HR. I was like, maybe that's the lane. But I knew I always wanted to work with systems involved youth. I just didn't know how I was gonna get there. But you know, just through different jobs and stuff, and then meeting the young people that I did, I was like, okay, yeah, trauma, grief, crisis. Because I don't think anybody wakes up in the morning and they say, yeah, I'm going to work in the trauma, grief, and crisis world. Nobody does that, especially not with teenagers. But for some reason, that's where my heart is. So,
salute to all the work that you all do.
Major salute.
Facts. You too, boy.
You know what,
I know. So ironically, I'm on the other side. Like, I never get this. Like, in high school, playing basketball, we had a really good basketball team and all that. But I think I could have went and played. You know, I don't really talk about this much, but I could have went if I had the right guidance. I could have played collegiate basketball, not on the D1 level, but I had the skill set to play elsewhere, right? But my coach, who was kind of my height, he had played at Central, but he played running back. And he just pulled me in the office one day. He was like, hey, at the time, me being 16, 17, and arrogant, he's like, hey, man, start getting your plan together. I didn't understand what he was saying, but because I've always been a captain of the basketball team, or always been a person that was always like on the high school team, I would go to lunch with this person, after school study hall with this person, just keeping everybody together, having that thing. And my coach pulled me to the side. He was like, hey, man, look, dude, this is really the true story. R.I.P. Coach Clem, rest in peace. And shout out to Coach Ray too. He was in Raleigh with us when we went. He sat down. He was like, hey, look, man, me talking to you right now, I'm getting paid for it. Me mentoring you, I'm getting paid for it. He was like, you need to think about a career that you can do for the rest of your life. And I was like, I'm not being no teacher. And he was like, that's what I was like, man. I'm not. He was like, no. He's like, man, you can affect a lot of people, and you can wake up and do it every day, Keenan, without even blinking, because that's who you are. And I was probably it was the sophomore summer going into junior year. And honestly speaking, from that second on, it never I always knew I was going to be in education. I never looked at anything else. I never thought about doing anything else because literally, you know, as quiet as it kept, you know, you hear all the stories. It is up and down. It is ups and downs. It's everything you hear, but it's one of the most rewarding careers that you can ever find. And I think the biggest thing he told me, he said, just don't do it here. So I was able, luckily, I was able to find a city that, you know, I didn't have to really worried about being overworked and underpaid. You know what I mean? So I'm able to operate in my full capacity as an educator because I don't have the secondary stress of feeling like, you know, what comes with it. But man, I really feel like I chose it. I just think it's me. I'm in a place where no day is the same. You know, being around young people keep you energized. It keeps you knowing what's going on. And it's really just fulfilling, yo, for a kid to walk in your room one way in August. Well, I'm not in the classroom no more, but to walk in your room one way in August and to leave in June a whole different person. And then you start like now, sorry, I'm on my soapbox now. But like now, I'm starting to see a lot of my seniors graduate and they texting me and sending me invites to graduation and saying, yo, you appreciate all the talks, da. I don't think you can replace that with any, and this is just my personal opinion, with other careers. Like there's physical rewards. I don't think replace that with those text messages, those calls, those invites, those pictures, and people creating them lives for themselves. And like the small things you do, you never know how you impact somebody until I may get a DM like, yo, Mims, I finally found you, bro. This was going on with me, da. Pulling up the game. Some of my former students having kids, because this is the crazy part. My first year of teaching at high school, those kids now are 28, 29. So we're not that far in age. So it's crazy to think that I was teaching somebody that's about to be 30. It's insane. But I feel like I chose it.
Awesome. And I got to give him his credit because when I met him, Keenan was young and he was doing normal young guy things. He was dead set on being that teacher. He wasn't playing about that.
Nope.
Yeah.
He was not playing about that. So man, this has been inspiring to see your journey for sure.
Appreciate that, brother.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the funniest part is my friends always say, like, bro, you teaching people kids, bro? That's the funniest part, man. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, man, I'm hell in that classroom now. You want to move some numbers? Put me in there now. I'm hell in that class. I show them what to do now. I'm telling you. And math, because I specifically wanted to do math because there's not a lot of black male faces in math.
And a great math teacher.
Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you. Back over to you, Age. I'm swinging it back to you.
Are we doing the next one?
I got one. I got one that I want to kind of do that. Can I skip the one I want to do that's kind of like impromptu?
Yeah. Do yours.
Hey, so this was a debate that I'm gonna turn into a question. What are y'all thoughts? I can't wait to hear Lou's reaction. What are y'all thoughts on your partner wanting to get males? So ladies, you're going to answer from your perspective. What are your thoughts on your lady partner wanting to get a tattoo in a private area? Are you going with her, or how would you feel about her going? And are you going with her while she gets it? And we ain't talking about we ain't talking about no look. We talking about where she only for the tattoo, nothing freaky. What's y'all thoughts on that? Or she has the tattoo in said place. What are y'all thoughts on her going to get it? Are you going with her? Are you being there in the supportive role while she's getting that tattoo?
She getting it where the sun don't shine.
I'm going to leave that for the imagination.
I'll let you take this one, Louis, because I see you very, adamant about answering this one here.
No, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I've evolved. The younger me would have been like, hell no. But now that I'm older, man, them people just doing their job, man.
Yeah.
So are you going with them to like be there to let them do it?
If she want me to, if it depends on what my wife wants. She want me there, I'll be there.
You don't mind her getting no tattoos and nothing like that?
No. I don't care.
That's what's up.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Shit, I'm not. I'll let you go get one. I don't want to be there.
Supportive. If you want me to go with you, that's cool. If not, I mean, that's your wife. That's property.
Huh?
Like you can't. I mean, if she wants to get it done, like, I mean, you can't. You can have a say so in it, but at the same time, it's like.
No, what you say about property?
Say again.
You said something about property. I didn't hear what you said.
I said that's your wife. That's not your property.
Oh yeah, 110%. Yeah. Man, I done seen some tattoo artists go too far, bro. Like I really
As far
have.
as what?
Yeah, like what's your experience with that?
Experience. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. AJ, everybody look at Jay. He about to go for another run. Try to beat me up. All right. So nah, I mean, I've heard stories. I've heard stories while getting tats. I've heard horror stories. And I've also seen tattoo artists do a little too much, bro. I ain't trying to incriminate. I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes, right? It's a little much, I'm gonna say. But again, I don't think I'll necessarily go. You know what I mean? I don't really care about no tattoos or nothing like that, but I don't have to go. I don't have to go. You go do your thing, go with a friend, y'all do y'all thing, and that'd be it. Ladies, what's y'all thought? Are y'all asking y'all man to go if y'all going to get a tattoo there?
No.
Why not? Why can't he go with you?
Number one, because it's not like, I mean, if he wants to be, I wouldn't like, if he said, all right, I'm gonna come, I wouldn't be like, nah, you can't come. But like, there's nothing pretty about what's about to happen. Like, let's be clear, like, tattoos are not like the experience of getting a tattoo. It looks messy, it's weird, it's painful. Like, like I don't need you to see all of that. You could see the finished product if you know what I'm saying, but to see the process, I feel like that's a lot. And as a person that has a lot of tattoos, yeah, like but if he wanted to come, like to make sure like that the person that's tattooing me, and mind you, and my tattoo artists are men, most of them are, but like if I was getting a tattoo there, I would definitely not go to that artist at all. I would not go to a male artist. Number one, for myself, that would make me feel very uncomfortable. And also out of respect for my guy. That's just like, yeah, that would be a lot. I wouldn't get a tattoo there anyway, but you know,
what if he
for the
said,
sake
no,
of the
you're not
question,
getting that?
that's a whole different conversation. Is he my husband?
Paying for it?
Is he my husband or is he my that would be crazy. I have my own money, but is he my husband or is he like a boyfriend?
I don't know. Whoa, Asian. So I kind of like where this conversation is going. Why does that change? Why does that change if he can say no or not? Like
for me, it changes just because I don't feel like I have to submit to a boyfriend. A boyfriend does not hold the same weight for me, as a husband does. And this could be unpopular, whatever, but there are certain things that I would take into account if my husband is saying like I don't feel comfortable with you getting that done. Like that, like to be like even for me, y'all know I love tattoos. I have them. I will not get a thigh tattoo. I want one. But for me, it's something about knowing that, and I guess the private area is a little bit different, but because in my mind, I'm like, if I'm out on a beach somewhere, and depending on what type of thigh tat I want, like what type of attention is that sending to the masses, right? Because at that point, I am still a representation of my husband. I am an extension of him at that point. So for me, there's certain things that I do feel that there's a difference. So for me, it would matter.
You're the first woman I've ever heard say that, married or non-married, understanding that they're an extension of their spouse. That's impressive.
That is.
Brittany, what's your thoughts? I'm gonna ask you a question after this.
I'm not getting a tattoo there, so
y'all keep saying there, and I didn't specify.
I don't have any tattoos, right? I don't. Those periods. I'm not. The thought of me even getting one in a private, wherever that might be, is crazy. But if it came down to that, yeah, I'm definitely bringing him. And for me, it's more so of a fear factor. Like my husband, my spouse is my comfort. I'm bringing him for that level of comfort, not necessarily because I thought I didn't even know tattoo artists try things. Y'all are enlightening me. But
I'm not gonna put that on them, but they are some weirdos sometimes, like that.
I don't put nothing past nobody anyway, especially when you're exposing yourself in a very open way. I can understand how something like that can happen, but it would be more for comfort than anything.
Jay, did you have somebody go with you when you got attacked like that?
You can't use the same thing I said earlier, bro. Come on, man. Come on.
Oh, I hear you say it. But Angel, let me ask you a question. I'm gonna transition off the tattoo, but I just impromptu, but I want to ask and complete curiosity. Because of what you said, in your experiences or in your mindset or in your world, how do you differentiate what a boyfriend, where the line is drawn boundary wise from boyfriend to husband, as far as growing with them, and then where the lines get crossed to like, okay, now we need to take the next level before certain things. I'm not going to necessarily say you got to share what those things are, but like, how do you navigate that because of your which I absolutely love, your perspective on what you are as a wife when you marry somebody? Does that question make sense?
Partially. So I'm gonna ask you to give me more.
So you know,
So
have you ever heard people?
Are you asking me what specifically are you asking?
So you know how people always say like, I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z until they're my husband, or they say like, I'm not going to do wife duties while I'm with a boyfriend or things like that. For you, where does that line get drawn between boyfriend and husband? Because you stated tonight that there's a specific line that's drawn for you in regard to how you view or how you would react to leadership from a boyfriend perspective or a husband's perspective. Where does that line get drawn for you, and what does that look like? Did I clear that up?
Yeah, no, you did. I think it's there's a lot of things, but the first couple of things that that came to my mind was thinking about if I have done this, if I had done this with other people, right? As far as let's say like if it was my thing to always cook for people, right? Then for me, I was just like, okay, cool, like a boyfriend that can happen for him too. But if I know that there's something, I'm speaking generally, but if there's something that I have not done, like I purposely have purpose in my heart, like I'm not going to do this until I'm married, right? And for me, that is part of it is like cooking like certain meals. Don't ask me what the meals are, but there's just certain ones that I'm like, I need time to practice. I need like something. I want to meet with your mama to see how she cooked it for you. Like for me, and food is actually one of the things for me. So I can make like a little chicken, a little, something, but like specific meals. I'm like, no, I would want to be in the kitchen with your mom, learning how to do that as your wife. So I guess a lot of it has less to do with like him, but more to do with like what would make me proud to be like, I did that as his wife. You know what I'm saying? Like the perks is on me as the wife, not just like the girlfriend. Because I don't want it to be like, oh, well, I don't need to marry her because she's already doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, it's like, no. Like I get the luxury of doing these things for my husband, which is exclusive to him. So for me, I think there's this level of it being like exclusive.
Yeah. I don't think guys really.
That was good.
That was beautiful.
About the food thing.
I think it's the approach more than it is the food.
I don't know, man.
What?
For me, food is a big deal.
What do you mean?
Say again.
What do you mean the approach?
Like she said specifically, like when they get to a certain level, she wants to learn how he likes it from the person he likes it from, because she wants to be able to basically curate that same type of love or meal or things for him that he's used to. I was saying that approach more so than like the actual cooking portion of it. Like her cooking is good, don't get me wrong, but the intentionality behind how she wants it cooked or what she wants this person to feel is what I was getting at specifically.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Hey, what you mean food? But man,
food is important to me because I'll just share. So my family, when my wife got introduced to my family, it was around like holidays and things like that, and we ate certain things a certain way. And as you gotten older, people pass away and things change, but that tradition she could tell that meant a lot to me. You get what I'm saying? So she was intentional about learning the recipes that I, from my mom, and making sure that I would still have a bit of that incorporated into where we are now. So that went like, that goes a long way. Like for me, it goes a long way. So when I say food, it's not just like me It's not just me eating because food is food, but it's me being able to eat what I've been familiar with, what's meant so much to me over a certain amount of time. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I had to. I'm not good at stuff like that. I'm just not in a bad negative way. I'm just a low maintenance husband. Like I don't be caring about none of that shit.
So is it like it's not like a dish that your family makes like on Thanksgiving? Like, oh, I look forward to having this person's blank.
I will say this, that I've become more attached to holidays since I had my kids. I think that for me, and I had to accept this, I'm just not that stuff just don't matter to me. Like, and I'm not saying this matters to you all. Like, I don't give a damn if you bring me my plate. I don't care if you washing my clothes. I don't give a damn if you clean up. I don't care about none of that stuff. I just don't. And to me, I'm more so into connection. So like, I think the biggest way that Brittany can show me love is like understanding how I am and how I connect to her, or when I need support and things of that nature. But like, I don't, Lewis. And honestly, you know why? Like, I lost my mother, 10 plus years ago. So holidays weren't a thing for me again until I started creating my own traditions with my children. So I really detached from a lot of stuff like that. Because a lot of those meals weren't in, you go 10 years, you start to go. And then on top of that, a lot of giving context, I also moved away from my family. So the traditions changed. I wasn't in those environments. We were grinding, working. Now, y'all want to be crazy. Y'all can judge my family. We liable to go to Roof Chris on Thanksgiving because we don't want to cook. Like, hey, let's just go out to eat, come back. We don't want to deal with. She has, but like, I think I love the traditions that we are creating for ourselves, more so than the actual acts. I'm just that I don't know. I got to work on that shit because I don't.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that, bro.
Yeah. I think I was gonna say too. I'm with you, Keenan. Except the shoes on the other foot because I am the wife. So I had to unlearn a lot of things because Mike is very much the same. Laundry, he does his own, and it's not because he doesn't want me to do it. He's just been doing it his whole life, and that's just something that he personally enjoys doing. If I touch his clothes, he's like, "Put them down. I like to do this. Let me do your clothes." So gender roles is very much different in our home. Especially even Asia, hearing you say like waiting to cook those specific foods, I had to unlearn some of those things. I learned what his foods were and what he liked, but due to health restrictions, I had to learn a new style to cook so I can make sure you live a long time. So it's different in our house, but again, it's understanding your partner and understanding what those roles look like for you, what works for y'all.
Because I recently
And I'll
had
just say this.
Go ahead. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and also like, and for me, I think it's more about it's like, yes, like my husband, yes, it'll be great and he'll be happy about all the things, but it's also, I think, for me, I've always wanted what I've seen in my family, like with my grandmother and my dad's mom, like she didn't believe in like the whole like um daughter-in-law or like sister-in-law. For her, it was like, no, you're just a daughter. Like you're just a part of the family. And so for me, it's more so it's not just about like me knowing how to prepare a meal. It's about me being able to be in the kitchen with his mother and feeling like I'm actually in the family because a lot of times, especially we all know the relationship between moms and their sons. And so coming in as a woman, coming into that space, we can feel othered so quickly and we can feel pushed to the side so quickly. So I think having those moments, and we don't talk about that enough, especially I think in the Black community, because some Black mothers didn't teach their Black daughters how to cook. Let's be clear about it. And so a lot of us have to do that on our own. So I think even just having that space for me, like the kitchen and the Black community is a very sacred space. So being able to then enter that space with his mother, I just find it to be so like it's healing. It will be healing to me, but I think it would also just be like, okay, like I'm really one, like within this unit.
For sure. 110%. This conversation came and we don't got to get into this part because I got educated on what pick-me's were. I didn't really know what those were. So it was like you know, a lot of women that have moral standards and everything are having a really big issue with these pick-me's, and I had to be explained like in depth what they were because I didn't get it at first. But there's neither here nor there. But anyway, any last thoughts on that, crew?
No.
All right, appreciate everybody tapping in, man. Thank you for everybody that liked, comment, and shared. It's your boy K. Mims. I got Lewis, Asia, Brittany, J Dub. We are the Monday Night Crew, and we are out.